see if I come online here. I think I just posted it. So the study guide material, if you want to call it that, is on myCASHA. Like it's part of the, what would you say, the exam announcement or whatever, where it says there's an exam coming up. And I added something to it yesterday, and that's not it. It's this right here, doing exercise. Okay. Would you like to me, Douglas? All right, so, I got to put it on the screen, or you won't be able to see it. Okay. So these are Familien photos. Match each description with a picture. So we've got these two guys here. We've got these four ladies here. We've got this older man and this somewhat, maybe possibly older looking woman, then a younger looking woman on the phone, and then a dog, and then a younger couple here. So here are the descriptions. Das sind mein Opa und meine Oma. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What do you think? You can pull this up on your own, but it's, which one of these matches that? Das ist mein Opa und meine Oma. This one? Can you see it okay? These two young guys? These four, could it be the four ladies?
Unlikely.
Das ist mein Opa und meine Oma. What are Opa and Oma?
It's the elderly, and it's the elderly man and the possibly elderly.
Yes. Maybe an elderly man who married a somewhat younger woman, but
Yeah.
not quite as old as he is. Right? Well, yeah, let's not get, okay, so that's right. It's Nummer 3. Let's do this way. Hier sind meine Brüder, that's plural of Brüder. Brüder, I should say Hans, not Hunt. And this is right out of the old textbook. Huh, interesting. Hans und Franz. Well,
the two slightly.
This one?
No, the one at the top. The two slightly.
Yeah, brotherly looking.
Yeah.
All right, that's two guys, so that's for sure gonna get us that far. It's got to be right. Das ist meine Familie am Tisch. Yep, these people are all at a table, that's for sure, and no one else is at a table. Am Tisch, that's got to be it. Hier siehst du meinen Vater und meine Mutter. So this, we've already used that one. We used the top 3 actually. So we'll skedaddle down here to 4, 5 und 6. I think the last one. Das ist meine Mutter und mein Vater. Hier siehst du meine Mutter und mein Vater. Unser Hund Max ist 7 Jahre alt. Number 4. That's terrible. That's clearly not a Max. Nor is it a Hund. Right here, guys. You know what a Hund is? That's right. Number 5. So that leaves us in the last one. Das ist meine ältere Schwester Maria. Yeah, well, there she is. What are you going to do with somebody like Maria, huh? All right. There's one more.
Telephone company.
Yeah, she may get one going. Okay, and here, these are some sentences that they want you to actually give you the phrase nicht gern, sehr gern, really like to do something. Gern, I didn't talk about sehr gern, that's just more emphatic. Gern, the words are all kind of, it's like a word salad here. It's all jumbled up, but it's pretty much in order, but you may have to change and move some things. But it's an important thing with sentences in general in German where we don't want to split up the subject and verb. We want to keep them together. So here's my subject, Philip, and here's my verb, spielen, but I got to make it fit together. I got to conjugate it, but I don't want to put anything between Philip and spielen, like nicht gern or basketball. So I want to keep it together. Let's just work with those two first. How do Philip and spielen go together? What would be the conjugation? Is Philip a he?
Yes,
So right?
yeah.
So you can think of it that way too, if that helps, but Philip works the same way.
Spiel.
Nine.
No, that's a good thing.
This much we know, right? Spiel. It's a T on the end. Spielt. Now that I've kept those two together and put nothing between them, there's no word between Philip and spielt. That's good. Then the gern or nicht gern can kind of float around a little bit here. Spielt, I'll put it right here. Nicht gern basketball. Now, the nicht gern could have gone here too. I can spell it right. So I'll put that like in I'm just going to do this one time now, so I'm not mess it all up and make everyone wait. It could have gone right there and had a period there, possibly. But Philip spielt nicht gern Basketball. Philip spielt Basketball nicht gern. Yeah, either one would have been okay. Let me make this full screen for them. Okay. Good. Meine Tante aus Rom kochen Italienisch sehr gern. Well, what's our subject here? I'm going to write it in. Do you know what it is? Rome. Could that be a subject? It could be. Italienisch. Yeah, meine Tante. Ne? Meine Tante. Good. Now what's the verb? Kochen. So with spielen, we said Philip spielt. Meine Tante is also just one person we're talking about. The verb reacts the same to that. So what would it be? Not spielt, but here's the verb kochen. But spielt was up here with the T on the end. What's it going to be down here? With kochen. Kocht. Same, just a T on the end. No X in it. Kocht. Italienisch. Likes to cook Italian. Yeah, we say that too, don't we? Meaning all kinds of good Italian food. Aus Rom. Oh, specialty. There's obviously different kinds of Italian food. And then I'll throw in the sehr gern at the end. She really likes to cook Italian food from Rome. Meine Tante kocht Italienisch aus Rom sehr gern. Well, we didn't talk about that, but sehr gern and gern work the same way. So Monika, Deutsch lernen gern. So these words are more jumbled up than the others. Is German learning Monica, or is Monica learning German? I would think so. Let's make that the subject then, right? If she's the doer of the action, Monica. Now, just like we had Philip spielt, understand that all these three fit into the same category as far as grammar is concerned, although they're all different people. Philip spielt, meine Tante kocht, Monica, what's going to happen? The verb is lernen, but put it together with Monica. You see what I'm saying? There's a T right there. Right, because they're all third person singular. They're all one person Doesn't matter that it's your relative or, someone you don't know, or it just means that you're talking about one person. I'll just make these highlight red just for, okay, Philipp spielt, meine Tante kocht, Monika, what happened with her? Lernt. And what is she learning? Deutsch. And likes to or not likes to? Gern. Now I could have put gern right here. Lernt gern Deutsch. Would have been okay. Or at the end, but I don't want to put it, remember I have one other, it's in your handout, or it's in your study guide stuff. I've got one with a subject and a verb and something else, and I have a big X between the subject and verb, meaning don't put anything right here. Now the subject changes to a different, actually to a plural, wir. What's the verb out of here? Wir gern das Auto fahren. So wir is the subject, but which one is the verb here? Is that a verb?
Oh, I thought you said the subject.
The subject is wir. Unless the car is driving we, or us. Cars do that now, Let's stick with the normal world here. Most of us live in, I don't know. Maybe some of you have a Tesla at home. But wir gern das Auto fahren. What's the verb, though, out of these 4 words? 5 words.
Gern.
Gern is not a verb.
Yeah.
I'm really worried now about this.
Fahren.
Fahren is the verb, right?
Oh, I said that 5 minutes ago.
You did? I heard wir. I heard das Auto. So it's plural. What form is it going to get here? Wir? I talk about this all the time. The plural usually gets what? No.
No, that's not.
It gets the full verb.
Yeah.
Only one exception to that. I won't talk about it right now, but it almost always it's the full verb. Wir fahren. Now I can throw the word, I'm going to do this. I'm going to throw it in right here because after the verb, wir fahren gern das Auto. We like driving the car, whatever car it is. Wir fahren, it could have gone to the end. Wir fahren das Auto gern. Doesn't change the meaning of the sentence any. It just can kind of float a little bit. There's not many things in German that are like this, where German is not a very flexible language, really, especially in written form. But gern has some leeway a little bit. With some Italian, I understand, you can twist things around and put the subject and verb, and as long as it's clear, everyone's all right.
Italian comes from Latin, and in Latin it's inflected language, so you can write the whole thing backwards.
And as long as, and by the cases, you can tell what word is what part of the. Okay, yeah, that would almost be a really different cognitive experience learning that language.
Really hard to learn.
I mean, even if you learned it as a child, like you grew up in the Roman Empire.
I spent 2 years in those two learning Latin.
Yeah.
And I'm basically at the same place where I started.
Okay. I just feel like if you learned it as an infant, like you grew up in the Roman Empire, like the experience, although it'd be hard to research that, of learning a language that tells you what's going on in the sentences based off of case. Like even English is pretty highly structured, really. We subject, verb, direct object, but if the words can come anywhere, and as long as the cases are indicated properly, I know it's maybe not quite a free-for-all like that, but then, okay. Anyway, let's go on. Now now we're back to where we started with the Philipp and meine Tante and all that. Because he is somebody we're talking about. Very good. And what is he buying? Yeah. Kauft einen Porsche. Gern oder nicht gern? Looks like gern. Who doesn't enjoy buying a Porsche? Maybe you don't enjoy making the payments on it, but
the person who buys a Renault.
The person who buys a Renault would not enjoy buying a Porsche. Maybe. They have different taste. Julia, now we're back to where we were again with and meine Tante. Where else? What else? Who else are we throwing up here? Philip and we strayed away with one word with Monica, right? Monica, meine Tante, Philip, meine Tante. Okay, all those people. But now we're talking about one person named Julia again. Oh, and look what I did. I went and gave you the conjugation. Well, darn it. But by now you know. Er kauft, Julia geht. And where's she going to go to?
The museum.
Ins Museum, right? So, well, I won't be quite so. Geht. She like going to museum or not?
Yeah.
Nicht gern. Ins Museum. Some people don't like going to museums. I like it in moderation.
They're nice when they have good air conditioning.
Yes, sometimes European museums are not so well ventilated.
Yes.
I wonder about all those great works of art. Like, there should be better, it's a little humid in here. Julia geht nicht gern ins Museum. Yeah, I can do it with some moderation. There's a huge, beautiful museum in Berlin, and it's a Jewish family who originally owned it. It's their collection, and it was they managed to get it out of Germany before things got real bad.
Is it part of the Rothschild?
No, it's the Berggruen is the family's name. Berggruen.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
And they got this out. I think they got it into the UK somehow. Now, only recently has it made its way back to Germany. I mean, in the last 15 years. And it's in Berlin, where it used to be, because it was on display for the public even when it was owned. And it's all Picassos. Picasso. So a lot of, mainly, of course, obviously, is they do have some newer ones too, but mainly is older, work. And so it's 4 stories, this museum.
That's a lot of Picasso.
It's unbelievable how much Picasso that they had. But Picasso was a, ubiquitous painter and sketch artist and all that. And so, and the only thing is that on one floor, maybe it was even in the basement of the gallery, there were some of his like proteges paintings, which looked a lot like his. So so I'd been there before. Even if you just have a passing interest in art, it's an hour's worth of time, because some of them really get your attention, and it's quite stunning. And some of you recognize from you've seen. And so I was up on like the 2nd floor, and it's like an atrium like gallery. The gallery's around the outside. So when you come out of each gallery level, you can look down and see down and so I look down to the 2nd floor and I see there's one of my students down there, and he's just like sitting down and putting his headphones in. And so I guess he's done, maybe he didn't like it at all. So we go through, and I was probably looking through another 30. I didn't take as long as the kids did, but I went down and saw him. I said, "Hey, you went through kind of fast, man." He's like, "Yeah, I saw it all though." I said, "What'd you think?" He's like, "Just looks like a lot of blue naked people to me," and kind of squared off people too. It's like, and I thought, I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty much it."
Yeah.
Blue, square, naked.
Have you seen the video? It's on YouTube somewhere of the U.S. government's Nazi confiscated art warehouse that they're still trying to get back to Europe.
Well, I'm surprised that we've held on to it that long.
Yeah.
Oh,
we still have like gold clocks and all sorts
Wow.
of other stuff.
No, I did not know that.
Frames.
I did not know that.
And we can't give it back to anybody because under various UN treaties, you have to find the original owner. It's basically impossible now.
Sure.
So there's like several, like maybe like $100 million of stuff.
Is Germany just wanting it back?
No, I don't know. I think a lot of it's probably Hungarian.
Okay.
From Hungarian Jews, but yeah, it's in a warehouse in Maryland somewhere.
Yeah.
It's got expensive art and stuff.
I knew that, this we already went through. Well, we'll just look at it real quick. I know that, and this was something interesting I saw. And I was just surprised that this is not, I don't know, better known, or like, I knew this existed somewhere. Something just never questioned, like, where are those things? Like, I never asked that question so often. But there was some guy doing this documentary about Hitler and about his early years. Like, it wasn't about the war, about him being dictator. It was about him as a kid and about him as an artist. And at one point, he goes into the U.S. Archives in D.C., that huge building, and they have a good number of his paintings, the originals of his paintings, and they just got him like in a drawer, like in those archival type drawers, they have the white gloves on. They start pulling these paintings out, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're just casual about it. Here's some of his paintings. You can see it's A. Hitler and the A, first initial.
That's a pricey signature these days.
Those pieces of art are worth plenty. If the country ever goes bankrupt, somebody would want to buy them, I'm sure. He's not as bad. He's no master,
No,
but and I'm sure he had some promise as an artist, but he was applying to the best art school in the world at the time, to the Vienna School of Art. I'm sure there's great schools in Italy as well. But that would be one of the top in the world at the time, and maybe still. But that was a pretty lofty goal, but apparently it affected him really.
Yeah.
All right, so Kombination. I know we've gone over this, but you guys see what we did here. On one side, we've got the, I don't know, what do you call it there? Who could match up with each other? So Opa and Oma are also Mann und Frau. And Geschwister would be Brüder und Schwestern, brothers and sisters. Kinder, like you have kids, be a Sohn or Tochter, or both, or more, okay? Eltern are your Vater, as opposed to Großeltern, coming up next, are your Vater and Mutter. Großeltern are your Oma, Opa, or Großvater and Großmutter. And that last one, Haustier. You can see what we did there. Here's the one where I want you to choose the proper or the correct. I give you two choices. I'm losing my what's it called, personal pronoun or possessive pronoun, meine or meinen. It's also, like everything else in German, based on the gender of the word, which is feminine here, Tochter. That should be enough right there. Meine is the answer. Or is it masculine, neuter, plural, and is it nominative or accusative? Like it is here, it's masculine accusative. We see, we're doing the seeing. Who are we seeing? His friend. That's Freund is masculine, and it's the direct object, so therefore accusative. Seinen Freund. So that's all we're doing there. So make sure you know what these mean, but also what the endings are on them as well. So, okay. Yes. Same thing here, but I have the pronoun, and what pronoun goes together with do? Dein. Ich, mine. Just like in English. You, your, I, my, her or she is her, he is his, we is our. Just like that. Same thing in German. Ich, meine, du, deine, sie, ihr. Z, everything Z is going to be ear, but the formal U, Z gets a capital I, just like the S in Z is capitalized. Ihre Studenten, their students, that's capitalized because it's the first word of the sentence. Okay, so that's just a matter of figuring it. So that's what I put down here at the bottom. At this whole thing is every time the pronoun is Z, because Z can mean you formal, it can mean she, and it can mean they. And no matter what it means, the possessive pronoun is ear, although one of them is always going to be capitalized no matter where it is in the sentence, because it's the formal form of your. Okay, and then here was this part where you have the, actually what we started out with on this was no ending. It was like this, Ich sehe die blank Oma, and sportlich was the answer, athletic. So because it's die, we got to add an ending to it. Die sportliche Oma. So the adjective ending in this feminine accusative die. Good. Same thing here. This is die Freundin. Just like die sportliche, this became die rothaarige. Same gender, same Case actually also, no, I'm sorry, this actually was a DO. Doesn't matter because it's the same as a DO and as a subject. This is also a DO, but again, it doesn't matter because if you look at the chart, die rothaarige, so I have the little sister, that's a DO, die kleine Schwester, but the ending's the same, die kleine Schwester, and die rothaarige Freunde, die sportliche Oma. For our purposes right now, all feminine words that have a definite article, like the article D in front of them, are going to take an E ending. The same thing is true with das words. Neuter words are going to take an E on the adjective if das precedes the adjective instead of D like it is here. Here, though, with Dane, every time we see the word Dane, we're going to put an EN. That's easy to remember because Dane ends in EN also. So here, siehst du den guten Schwager? Ledig means single, like not married, not dating anybody, I guess. Das ist die, okay, we had ledig, just like up here where we had die Oma, die Freundin, die Schwester. Again, we have die Schwester, die kleine Schwester, die ledige Schwester. Now we have a masculine word, der. So whenever I see the word der, also going to put an E on the end. Der intelligente Onkel. Der, number 6, der alte Cousin. Because they're both masculine. Both have der in front of the adjective, so we're going to add an E. Here's another sportliche relative. Die sportliche Tante. Just like die sportliche Oma up here. Almost the same sentence. Now, let's do one more. Here's another one. Die Frau. Die kleine Frau. Die sportliche Frau, die kleine Frau, die rothaarige Frau, whatever else we've had. Here, now we have a different one though. Eine. So that takes us down to the second level of the chart, which is what happens when you have an indefinite article like ein or eine or einen, perhaps, in front of the adjective, preceding the adjective, you say. Well, the endings are a bit different, but here at this level, they're not so different. Sie ist eine, and the adjective was schwarzhaarig, but we add an E. Eine schwarzhaarige Frau. Eine schwarzhaarige Frau. If this word were die, it'd be the same thing. Sie ist die schwarzhaarige Frau. That'd be correct. So in that case, it happens to be the same ending, whether it's an indefinite article like eine, or a definite article like die. Here we have a new word, das Auto. It's a neuter word, and the adjective is the R word from English they borrowed, cool. Cool. Different than temperature cool. That's a different word in German, but they take our word cool for the same way we say it in a slang-like way. But it's an adjective though, and the ending for neuter words is es. When it's preceded by the word ein. Neuter words will be preceded by ein, and the ending ein cooles Auto. Cooles. And if you'll notice, if it helps any, here you'll notice that eine schwarzhaarige, that's the last letter in the word die. Also it's the last letter in this thing here too. And if you'll notice here, S is the last letter in the neuter das. That's not by coincidence, that's by design, but ein cooles Auto. Now we have, so I had a feminine word, eine Frau, neuter word, ein Auto, now a masculine word in the, I can tell right away it's the DO because it's einen. Einen. Be sure to look at the chart tomorrow, guys at home, when you're taking this test here in class tomorrow. Because you can look at those. When you get closer to it, walk over to it. It's okay. Einen only occurs as a masculine accusative form. So just like, if it helps at all, you've got an EN. Earlier we had the word Dane. You find it here. I think we did. No? Didn't we? Maybe not. But with Dane, it does the same thing. But einen, we just put an EN. So there's an EN here and an EN there. How can let me see. I don't know how to do that. Let's make that red, and so you see the connection there. All right. Hope that this changes it on everyone's copy. Okay. Now I have one that apparently has nothing in front of the adjective. Just a blank for the adjective. What is the adjective here? Oh, it should be gut is the adjective. I guess we never got this far, did we? Because they're both still blank. All right, so blank Männer und Frauen. This is plural now. Mann becomes Männer, Frau becomes Frauen in the plural. Sind in der Polizei. No, most of them are, right? Let's use the word gut. And if you look on the chart there, it's the bottom level of unpreceded. That means there's no der word or ein word in front of it. Just good men and women are in the police force. Well, what's the plural? Look at the very end there. What's the last one? Can you see it up there? On the whiteboard? Okay. Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's E. E. So this would be gute. What the heck? Gute Männer und Frauen. The thing about these unpreceded adjectives is that they usually involve plural words. Even in English, we usually are talking about when we say they're good people. They're good men and women. There are good men and women in the police force. Not there are the good women, or there is a good man. That would be different. That's a and the. But just in front of plural words is usually where this happens. So this ending e is pretty consistent. Consistently, what we're going to use when there's an unpreceded adjective. Same thing happens here. Flaggen, I indicate here that's plural. Flagge in the back of the room. Flaggen. So what I was talking about here, what happens to blau? We're going to give at least that much blau, but we're going to add to it. Any ending? Is there a word der, die, das, or ein, eine, einen in front of it? There is not. So it's unpreceded. It's the last one, and it's plural. This was plural too. Well, we're actually not making verbs. We're just putting it on the end of what ending we put in the adjective. With this one plural, we put gute Männer und Frauen. This is plural also, flaggen. Way over here.
So you would put it in.
Right. Anything plural, that's usually what's going to be with unpreceded adjective, without the article der or ein or some form of those. It's usually going to be a plural word. And so E is always usually going to be your guess. And that's the case here. Ich sehe, I see blue flags. Right? I don't know when that would happen. Be more common to say, ich sehe rote Flaggen. Oh, how'd your date go last night? Oh, ich sehe rote Flaggen. You know what I'm talking about? You don't know that phrase, like with relationships? I see a lot of red flags. Kids, rote Flaggen. Come on, I'm not speaking a foreign language here. Rote Flaggen. It's like half English, half German. I'm speaking like Denglish, man. Denglish. With SCH on there. It's a word that I like to use because what happens when I take kids to Germany is that the longer we're there, like the first 2 weeks or so, they're almost resisting it, but it's so like immersive because you're actually living with the family and they're speaking, it's not like here where you get to walk on the hallway and you're back to your normal life. You walk out of a classroom there and it's still going on, like German is still happening. So they start speaking Denglish first. It's like this mixture of English and German. And they get pretty good at it. And then it just gives way finally. And then they're able to just like start saying stuff. It's kind of cool to watch. Like I'm sure that you could do a whole research study on this. And like this language learning experience, how.
I remember I was told by my math teacher.
Kinder, auf Wiedersehen. I'm sorry, say 1 second. Kids, you that are at home, be ready for the test tomorrow. Look at all the material I have on my cache under the exam announcement. Tschüss, bis morgen. Go ahead, Beth.